12 to 18 inches apart. It's not very precise, but it kind of feels in alignment with my hips. And I'm trying to have the toes point towards 12 o'clock. So if your feet are out to the side, bring them in, take a look at them, okay? And then a little soft bend in the knees. And we're going to start our warm-up today. Again, welcome to chair yoga for fall prevention. You can use your hands on the chair, stand behind, stand next to, stay seated. We're going to try to do this to where we can do this seated or standing. So first, let's shake those wrists. Now I invite you also to bend the knees a little bit. Now if you're seated, you kind of lift the heels to do the bending the knees business. And let's throw the arms. So throw them down and back. Make sure you're not going to hit the wall behind you. Lubricating the shoulders, the knees, the ankles, those hip joints, those elbows, a little bit of the wrists also. Now see if you can tap the shoulders, a little bit of an elbow bend there. Again, we're warming up the major muscles, the joints in the body, doing that balance assessment for our fall prevention chair yoga class today. Again, my name is Gail. Welcome to Friday's class, or Friday, as I like to call it. 2 more, 2, and 1. Now, I'm not very talented in this, but some folks can place their hands on their hips and shake their feet. I'm going to use a chair, okay? And again, if you need to have the hand underneath, if you're seated, please do so. Let's shake the foot a little bit. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do the other side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm looking to see, I'm pretty close to the wall there. I'm going to move my chair up a little bit because it's going to be bigger leg swings. It's knee up into the chest and down if you're seated. So bring it forward and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember to go at your own perfect pace, folks, okay? You don't have to match me or anybody else. Do what you can do. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice wide stance. Sit up nice and tall away from the back of the chair if you're seated. Let's do our wrist circles. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Palm stretch. So we kind of cup the hand, we place the other hand on top, and we gently push it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switching. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One hand on top of the other hand, and we're going to bring it up to like about an eyebrow level and down below the belly button. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch the hand. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here, hands on the shoulders and bring the hands forward. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fist, elbows out, squeeze those upper back muscles, and let's bring them out to the side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hands on your chest, shoulder circles. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's reverse. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this next one can be done one of two ways. You can come up on the ball of the foot and do ankle circles, or lift the foot up and do ankle circles. Either way, okay? So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reverse. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do the other side. Again, it can be in the air, hand underneath, foot on the floor. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reverse. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Have the feet be a little wide, knees bent, and let's shake. The shaking gong, we do this in our chair Tai Chi class. We'll do it here also to move the lymphatic fluids, warm up the body. Let's bring the arms up and turn to the side. Again, bending the knees a little bit when you do this. Back to the center, over to the other side. Back to the center. Let's flap the arms, palms down. Good for that carpal tunnel. And then palms up. That feels weird though. It's just me, right? It's probably you too. From here, again, swing the arms with that little bounce in the knees. Now try to do one forward, one back. Keep doing the one forward, one back. If you're seated, if you're standing, got to move away from the chair. Do one out to the side, center, and out to the side. Little twisting action going on here, a little bending of the knees. Again, do what you can with what you got. One more each side. Very good. Actually, it probably was two more, right? Now we're going to do the big six, the Qigong detox. We're going to take our hand, find our collarbone, and stroke across the collarbone or tap. This is to get the lymphatic flow going through our bodies. Now, it's not whap, it's tap. Let's do the other side. Again, above and below the collarbone or Spock hands, if you can do them. Oh, I got my little name tag there. Bring it across. I'm going to tap on this one. Very good. Now we take those same hands and we place them in front and back of the ear. Bring it down the jawline, down the side of the neck, and then with the hands back behind you, you kind of rub at the back of the head too, that cervical area. Again, we're trying to get rid of that lymphatic waste in our brains at night. You have brain fog. Sometimes you kind of get stuck because you don't have all this kind of opened up to move out. Let's do the other side. Here we go. In front and back of the ear, go down the jaw, go down the side of the neck. Get those fingers way back there. It goes from high pressure to low pressure. The low pressure areas is in the collarbone. All right, so next you make that little right angle with your hand and you press into your armpit and you've got that thumb in your pectorals. You can squeeze, you can rub, you can tap. So when men and women have breast cancer, where do they check for? Did the cancer go to another area? They check the pectorals, they check the armpit. So let's clear that muck out, shall we? All right, this is good for that lymphatic drainage. Let's do the other one. Again, you can press into, you can do like just soft little presses into the armpit, the pectorals, or you can just kind of do circles, or just kind of dig for gold. I don't know. Tap, tap, tap. I remember those boys in elementary school. They would make all these funny sounds with their armpits. I was always jealous. But now I'm kind of doing that now, right? All right, the next area. So you have a lot of gut issues. Guess what? Lots of lymph node nests in your front abdominal area. What I like to do first, though, is find my ribs. And then the diaphragm's kind of like stuck right underneath the ribs, and I just kind of stroke across. That helps for being able to breathe a little bit better. And just notice if it's tender, maybe a little inflammation going on there. And you know, bring it down to where my belly button is. And then let's go along the waistline, shall we? You can slap, you can do chops, you can kind of wiggle up and down. Kind of get that whole front abdominal area. You're playing the drums. Here we go. Mine makes a lot of noise. All right, feet go a little wide seated on the chair too. Where the leg inserts into the torso, that's called the quad. We turn from the quad in chair Tai Chi. We're going to take the sides of the hands and chop the quad. Again, if you get prostate cancer, where do they check to see did it go to other areas? Here in this inguinal crease. I'm not saying the word correctly, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? You can. I'm a little bit more vigorous when I'm chopping the quad. You can also stroke across, but I like to chop. That's just me. Maybe here, high on the hip and then the inner thigh. Very good. Now you may want to sit on this next one or, or not. But basically we're going to take the hands, let's clap them. get some heat into the hands because we're going to transfer that heat to the knees. Bend those knees. Get a little bit of heat on those knees. Reverse. You can do cat claws to stimulate those acupressure areas. And I take the sides of my hand, tap, tap, tap. That's for lessening knee pain. Then I take the fingers, either do that right angle again or stroke behind the back of the knee. So it's at the bottom of the hamstring, the top of the calf, and then that little back bend of the knee crease. You can also tap back there, okay? Very good. Come up. So you may notice a lot of sinus drainage. You may notice the ability to go to the bathroom better after you do the lymphatic drainage. It just is what it is. So just kind of notice what you notice here. All right, hands on the hips or hands just beside the body. Let's do head side to side. So here we go, side to side. Go at your own perfect pace. Notice your range of motion here. Breathing in, breathing out. The heart rate probably went up a little bit when you were doing that lymphatic drainage. Just kind of note that. All right. From here, we're going to do up and down. So do your own range of motion, okay? Make it feel okay today. Up and back to the center and down. You may want to hang on to the chair if you're standing and you're feeling a little equilibrium shift going on there. I'm noticing a lot of nasal drainage going on. And then bring the head back to center. We're going to draw our nose. It's called the Atlas point rotation in chair Tai Chi, where you just circle the head. So the Atlas point is that very top of the spine that inserts into the skull. You may hear some little snap, crackle, pop kind of sounds. Little crinkly stuff. Oof. And let's reverse. Go the other way. Again, hang on to the chair if this makes you feel dizzy, or eyeballs forward as you do this. Your eyes don't have to follow the shape, but you can lift them forward. You get a little extra eye exercise if you do that. Ooh, I hear it here on that right side going in this direction. I didn't feel it in the other direction. One more time all the way around. Very good. Hands low on the belly. So below the belly button, maybe covering it, and then hand above that. Kind of wiggle those shoulders just a little bit. Soft bend in the knees. Now I invite you to breathe in, expand the belly outwards if you can. And then contract the belly button towards your spine. So feel that little movement going on here. Again, inhale, belly and chest come forward. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Let's do one more breath, just like that. Breathe in, belly big. And exhaling. Beautiful. So that was our warm-up to warm up the muscles, the major joints in our body. Next is our assessment of how we doing, folks? Balance-wise, okay? So I'm going to come over to the back side of one of the chairs, and I'm pointing my toes towards the corner of the chair. I'm going to kind of bring it here more into the camera. Very good. And I'm going to bend the knees. I'm going to take that behind and kind of tuck it under. So there's, you're flaring your tailbone out, and you tuck your tailbone under, okay? That little pelvic tilt. Now, belly button, core engaged, squeezing, and you're going to bend the arm that's to the outside of the chair at that kind of 90 degree, and then you come up on the ball of the foot, the leg, same side arm, same leg, and lift that leg up, point the toe down. Now maybe you can release the chair, whoa, or maybe not. Maybe you're feeling some grabby sensation in that hip flexor. Just notice what you notice, okay? No judgment, and release. Woo, that felt a little spicy. So you can either walk around to the other chair if you only have one chair today, or walk over to the other chair. Again, bend the knees, roll that tailbone under so you're kind of sinking into the floor. Bend the elbow. This is called Golden Rooster in our chair Tai Chi class. And then come up on the ball of the foot and lift that leg, point that toe down. Now, notice this side compared to the other side. Does it feel different? And then can you release the chair? I'm trying to. Yeah, I definitely have. I've got scoliosis, so it affects my balance tremendously. So I have to work at this a lot, okay? Woo, and release. So again, maybe you notice some stuff going on there. Yeah, maybe so. All right, so now we're going to come seated on our chair. I'm going to move this one out of the way. We'll come back to that when we get to the leg stretches and the sciatica soother. So I've got my block. I've got my strap. And I'm going to scoot back to where y'all can see my feet and the camera. Very good. Come down to your chair. You're away from the back of the chair. Let me come to the center of the room. That way it's all nice and center. And of course, I got to move that one out of the way. The logistics of 2 chairs in the room. So, if you were feeling some sensation in one side versus the other, that's typically an indication maybe you're stronger one side versus the other, or, maybe you have issues like I do. I've got that scoliosis where it shifts my spine and twists. So one side is super grabby compared to the other. And I notice that when I go up and down the stairs that, that one's kind of a challenge there. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to bring my strap back behind me so I have it close by. We're going to take that yoga block. We're taking the medium width in between the legs here. And it's more closer to your knee than your inner thighs, okay, or your groin. And then from here, let's heel toe the feet in. So you feel this kind of contraction energy going on with the inner thighs. Now we're going to make that a little bit more by pressing the feet firmly into the floor. And you're going to feel that activation of the inner thighs when you do that. So you should be squeezing all of this, yeah? Now if you can, you're going to take your hand and try to dislodge your block, but don't let it dislodge. So you're going to tap on it. So you're really squeezing those legs into the block and release. Now you may have noticed some spiciness going on. You may have to pound your side booty to release that spiciness. And go ahead and take the block out. All right, from here, you know what? Just place the block down here on the floor. Just kind of march in place a little bit just to release that built-up tension that happened right then during that inner thigh squeeze business. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Find your yoga strap or your TheraBand. So you can do this 3 different ways. You can, if you have a buckle, you can thread your strap through the buckle and make it to where you're stepping through the loop, or you can thread your yoga strap or TheraBand underneath, and then what you're going to do is do a simple shoelace tie. So I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit and, cross one on top of the other, bring it underneath. Okay, so I got my knees about a fist distance apart here, okay? And then I'm going to do my bunny ears. Okay, you do whatever not you need to do, okay? Mine are bunny ears. Ah! A little hand yoga going on here. Okay. All right, so you have a nice little bow, or you tied a knot with your TheraBand. And so we do a variation of clam pose. So we never really get down to the floor here in this class. I do demonstrate that after we finish recording if you want to see that, but I want to show you these seated clam postures. So I'm going to take the foot on the, I think here, the left side or the right side, I don't know. We're going to heel toe it in to where I have it at an angle here. So I've got, well, that's a really short angle, isn't it? Okay, you know what, I'm going to choke up. I'm going to make my width of my TheraBand of my strap a little bit wider. Okay. All right. So that's a little bit more out. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. So I got the one foot into the side of my foot into the other foot. The foot that's firm into the floor, that's not turning, I'm pressing firmly into the floor with that. So I've got some contraction energy going on here. And with either my TheraBand or my strap, the other foot on other leg, I'm pressing towards the floor. So again, we're working the iliopsoas, the psoas muscle, the gluteus maximus, minimus, some stuff going on here with the hamstrings, the various heads of the hamstrings, the quadriceps. When we do this lying on our side, its knees are stacked, feet are stacked, and you're kind of opening up like a clam would open up if the clam was to open up. That's the name of the thing. So what we're doing here, you can take a hand on top of the hand that's firm into the floor, take your other hand to the inner thigh and press away. So again, we're trying to strengthen the musculature around that hip complex to have us to have better balance, to have us to have the ability to not fall, okay? And release. Woo! The release is the best part of that pose. All right, heel toe it out. We're just going to stay in the strap and do the other one, of course, right? Unless I forgot. Again, I got the side of the foot into the other foot. I'm pressing firm into the firm foot, or the flat foot, I guess you call it. And from here, I'm already pushing the strap away, pushing the leg away. But let's add a little extra. Hand to that inner thigh, maybe hand back behind you, and press. Woo! Don't forget to breathe. Might feel a little spicy. So when we feel spice in a yoga posture, any class you take, okay, my advice to you is return your attention to your breath. So listen to it going in through the nostril tips or your mouth, and then listen to it as it comes out of your nose, out of your mouth. Do that again. Stay in the pose if you can. If you can, breathe in. Woo! And breathe out. And release. Wow! Okay. Did y'all feel any of that? Thumbs up? Okay. That's a good thing. Okay. Now the reason why I like the shoelace bow is I can just pull one end out and it releases easily. Not so much with the TheraBand because it gets stuck on one another, yeah? Okay. So that was your homework. To do clam pose, or, squeezing the block and tapping it to where you're not going to let it move to where you really got it engaged. Okay, so that's homework number 1, the variations of that. Again, at the end of class, after we stop recording, I'll show you the floor version. Next is our Warrior 1 posture, and we're going to get into the side booty. Okay, well, maybe not okay. We'll see, right? After that, we'll do the 6 essential spinal movements. So we're going to turn our bodies to the side. Now, if you've got an armchair here, you may have to kind of go at an angle. Just kind of know that, okay? All right, so here we are. So here's where we do have to use the chair in this class, yeah? We're going to take the bun off the chair a little bit. There may be some bun still there. And then the leg that's in front of the chair, you get to choose which one you do first, okay? I don't care which one you start with. Just start, yeah? We're going to bring that knee in front, and then you got to move your bottom to feel comfortable on the chair, okay? With this other foot, sometimes we have the foot more towards the chair, but I invite you to bring it here at a right angle. You may have to step on a block to make that happen if you have tall chair, short legs, okay? From here, the knee can be here straight in front, or I've got super long legs, so I kind of wiggle mine back a little bit. And oftentimes what happens in Warrior 1 posture is we tend to lean forward or lean back. Well, what I invite you to do is shoulder kind of in line with your hip as best you can. Now, there's a little back bend that goes with this. Heart rate kicks up when you do a back bend. So here comes the side booty business, all right? So what we're going to do, press into the forward foot. Again, you feel that contraction energy happening with that leg that's on the side. And then with the back toes, curly toes, or top of the foot, you're going to squeeze the bun closest to me. So squeeze bun. You may feel lots of stuff going on already. If you want more, it's always if, you shift your booty forward a little bit to really get into that hamstring, that quadricep, the psoas, iliopsoas. You can hang on to the chair with the hand closest to the back of the chair. Other arm can go up for that back bend, and breathe. Now, it might be spicy. You may have to have a bend in the elbow. Just know that, okay? Don't forget your breath right here, right here. One more. Woo! And release. Yay, that's over. Knees together, swivel over to the, well, it's not over. It's half over. Let's do the other one. It won't be as bad on the second side, or maybe it will be. I don't know. Bring the other leg back. Again, kind of get yourself aligned on the chair. Maybe scoot the foot back or have it be right in alignment with the front. Now, again, I got that long knee to hip ratio, so I kind of scoot it back a little bit. Other foot, I'm going to bring it at that kind of 90-degree angle as best I can. Firm foot into the floor, this one that's in the front. Woo! Squeeze the bun that's closest to me. Woo! Or the one that's off the chair. And again, you may feel it right then during that posture. I'm going to hang on to my chair, shoulder over my hip, so I'm not leaning forward or back, okay? Press into the floor. If you want more, shift the booty forward. Woo! An arm can come up, and you're looking to breathe here, okay? Breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Again. 2 more. Last one, or maybe you're already done. Beautiful. And then come back, knees together, come back to the front. Now I mentioned we're going to do the 6 essential spinal movements. That's, when you get that spine flexible, snow gathers on the willow, it bends but doesn't break. So that's kind of why we do the 6 essential spinal movements. So I have my hands on my knees and my feet, a nice little distance apart. They're kind of pointing in the same direction. We're going to hinge forward. So this is a variation of cow posture, also known as forward fold. Now, a lot of folks, they like to drop their chin towards their chest, or their chin aligned with the tops of the shoulders, or chin towards the ceiling. My advice to you, if you have back challenges, ears aligned with the tops of the shoulders. So you're looking forward with your eyeballs. You're not dropping the chin. You're not raising the chin. Beautiful. Now, we're going to hinge back to a tall posture. It's called mountain posture. And I'm away from the back of the chair. This is the only way that this is going to happen. Grab those knees, grab those thighs, curve your low back, your mid back, your upper back towards the back of the room. So it's a little pelvic tilt happening here. Now here's sometimes where it gets a little spicy. You do this too fast. So what we're going to do is come out of this posture. So we're slowly coming back to a tall posture. So it's undoing your pelvic tilt to a neutral spine. So for me, it always kind of grabs me on that left side because I have SI joint dysfunction. I got back stuff going out the wazoo, but I do what I can, okay? So here we go. We're going to do that again. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale, hinge forward for that cow part. Extension and flexion of the spine. Stay here, breathe in. Contract that belly button towards the spine. Come back up to tall seated mountain. Beautiful. Stay here. Breathe in. Contract that belly. Curve to the back of the room. Ooh, that feels nice now. Stay here. Breathe in. Contract the belly button. Slowly exhale. Slowly come back to that tall seated mountain. Again, spice might be happening. Go slower. Go slower. Let's shift this into unsupported twists. So when you take a yoga class, you may encounter other teachers saying, take an arm across your body, now twist. Okay, now I teach the back yoga class. That's not cool for people with back challenges because you can make more pain happen. We don't want that. Yes, this is a fall prevention yoga class, but I'm just cueing you to let you know there's better, easier ways to do this. So what we're going to do is letter W, arms, squeeze the shoulders so you feel that upper back contraction, I hope. And then from here, we're going to let the thoracic spine do all the work. We keep the chin aligned with the chest as we turn over to one side, back to the center and the other. But you got to squeeze the shoulders. Very good. Breathe in, belly big. Now contract that belly button towards the spine. Let's turn over to one side. Woo! Stay here. Breathe in, re-squeeze the shoulders. Exhale back to the center. Beautiful. Stay here. Breathe in. Let's go over to the other side. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. Ooh, I twisted more on that second side. Interesting. Re-squeeze the shoulders. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale back to the center. And relax, release. Woo! Let's do a little something for Dowager's hump, that kind of forward position, that tech neck thing, yeah? So we're just going to kind of wiggle those shoulders up and down. It's called the lymphatic shoulder shuffle. And then let's squeeze both shoulders towards our ears, squeeze our armpits. It's going to look and feel funny. Then you turn halfway to the side, so you're still squeezing up towards the ears, yes? And then release it down. Woo, the best thing. Back to the center. Let's do that again. Squeeze it up towards your shoulders, or shoulders towards your ears, and squeezing that armpit. Again, it looks funny, right? Yeah, okay. Turn halfway the other direction, chin aligned with your chest, strengthening the upper back musculature. Yay! And release back to the center. Let's just do a side lateral movement. Inhale up, and then hand in the air, hand on the chair, reach up and over. Woo! You might notice some stuff going on here, maybe. Inhale back on up, exhale, float it down. Shoulder shuffle again, kind of release from what we just did. Let's do the other side. So both arms, inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Sneak the other one back behind you. Inhale, reach, 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 and then bring it over. Notice if it feels different than the other side. It might. Inhale back on up. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. All right, so the next part is standing behind a chair. If you're staying seated, you're going to do what you're going to do, okay? I can't cue you on this one. So I'm going to move the chair that I just worked with over here to the side. Probably going to use that later. I'll just bring my equipment over there too. And then I'm going to bring the other one in the view. Okay. You're probably thinking, when's homework number 2 and number 3 happening? Not just yet. All right, you don't have to turn it sideways, but I'm doing that so you can see what I'm doing so I can cue you a little bit more effectively. So I'm here with my hips kind of about, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches, or my belly, 4 to 6 inches away from the back of the chair. The leg that's closest to me, or your right or your left, you pick which one, okay? You're going to step it back just a little bit and then lay down on that heel, okay? Now, invariably, I always have to do this. I have to kind of hop my other foot a little bit closer to the chair. Then I'm going to bend the knee closest to the chair, and then you might be starting to feel some stuff going on with your hip musculature. May not, I don't know. Let's add the back bend to it. Same side arm as the leg that you step back. Let's bring that arm up. And then maybe you can release the chair, maybe not. Maybe this feels wiggly. You might have to take that forward leg, heel toe it out to side to where you have a little bit wider stance with your feet. Or if you want to challenge your balance, you bring it more in alignment with that back foot, kind of like a slalom ski, a water ski, if you know what that is. Or those snowboarding, because they're kind of in alignment. Yeah? Again. And then bring the arm down, lift that back heel, step it forward. Let's do the other side. Again, it's just a little step back. You're laying down on that heel. I'm scooting that other foot towards the back of the chair. I'm going to bend the forward knee. Woo! Feel that in my calf a little bit on that side, yeah? In the bottom of the foot. That's great for plantar fasciitis, all that good stuff. Same side arm goes up. Here's your back bend right here. This is a variation of Warrior One posture. Also crescent lunge, if you're familiar with that. We're going to bring the arm down, take that back heel, lift it up, step it towards the back of the chair. Now this time, step it back your regular distance. And you know what? Step it back some more. Oh. And then lay down on that heel, okay? Now, other knee, bend that knee towards the chair. So it should be a little bit deeper into this contraction energy, maybe spicy, breathe. And again, notice if you're a little bit more wiggly when you step that back leg forward. Bring that same side arm up as whatever leg you have stepped back. And again, I try not to lean forward. I try to have that shoulder in alignment as best I can with that hip bone or the side booty. Woo! Are you pressing into that back heel? I think you are. Bring the arm down, take that back foot, step it forward. Let's do the other side. So bring it back that first, regular distance, and then go back a little bit more. Lay down on that heel. Okay. Bend the forward knee towards that chair. Woo! Hello, calf. Same side arm goes up. Maybe you can release the chair. Maybe you just need to have the hand pressing down on the chair. It works either way, okay? This is part of our sequences for soothing that sciatica nerve. Woo! And bring the arm down. Take that back foot, step it forward. All right, we're going to go back to the same first distance on this next one. There's a little variation going on here, though. This is part of our sciatica soothing technique. So we're going to step the first foot back a little bit. Okay, now we're going to lift the back heel. Okay, then you're going to take your hand on your behind or not, and then roll it under. Interesting. And then from here, same side arm raises up. So you might feel a little wiggling, a little shaking going on here. To make this a little more flossy, a little bit sciatica soothing, eyes are looking straight ahead. If you can, take the chin to look where the wall meets the ceiling. Woo! And then back to neutral position, and then back down towards your chest, and back to neutral position, and release. Yay! Take that back foot, step it forward. Other side, step it back, just that normal distance, okay, the normal distance. Lift the back heel, and then take your booty, tuck it under. Woo! Hello. Same side arm goes up. And again, one side may feel totally different than the other. My first side was like very wiggly, very grabby. Let's add the element of the floss, shall we? So first we're looking straight ahead with our nose, with our eyes. And then take your chin to look where the wall meets the ceiling. You're very good. And then back to neutral position. And then down towards your chest. Hello. And back to neutral position. And release. Beautiful. All right. So that was the sequence for getting ready to walk, helping with bursitis, sciatica soothing. I'm going to turn my chair towards you now. So we are going to get a little bit more into the hip, okay? Into the hip. So to do that, let me think here. What are we going to do? We're going to stand behind our chair. And then basically we're just going to take a leg out to the side and in, okay? You don't have to do anything special with the foot. Just kind of notice what you notice. And away, move away from the back of the chair. So just out to the side and to the ankle. Ooh, excuse me. Air is happening. Air bubbles are releasing. Let's do 3 more. 3. Again, do what you can with what you've got. 2 and 1. Very good. Now, you're kind of walking in place here. Just lose that muscle memory just for a moment. Let's do the other side. Again, here we go. Bring it out to the side. Notice if there's something different on this side compared to the other, okay? And let's do 3 more. 3, oof, 2, oh my, and 1. Again, back to walking in place. So the next one's going to target that psoas, the iliopsoas, the side booty muscles, okay? Maybe not okay. What we're going to do is have the heel flexed out and the toes in, and you bring it out and across, okay? Now you got to make some room to make that happen. So we'll start with that original leg. So I got my heel out, toes in. I'm keeping that foot position. So I'm going to bring it out and across. Ooh. This is our psoas strengthening series. Into that hip and ball socket. Let's do 2 more. 2, 1. Woo! All right, march a little bit in place. And let's do the other one. So again, heel out, toe in. We start out and swing it across. Here we go. Don't hit the chair. Don't hit your toes. Does one side feel easier to do versus the other? Are you swinging more out? Or are you just trying to keep your balance? Just trying to keep my balance. 3, 2, whoo, and 1. Again, march in place. This next one's a little complicated. So you're going to have your toe be out as you bring it out, and as you bring it across, you point it in. So it's toe out, toe in. So there's a little rotation happening in that hip joint. Should be interesting. Again, we're starting with toe out. So here we go. Toe out, toe in as you cross. Out, in. Woo! Out, in. I'm bending that other knee softly. I'm not keeping it straight. 2 more. Out, in, out, and in. Yay. March in place. You may want to stomp if it needs a little stomping. You can also take the sides of the fists, a little pounding if you need to. Let's do the other side. Again, it's toe out, across, toe in. All right, here we go. Toe out and in. Toe out and in. Woo! Boy, the heart rate's kicking up here. Using those major muscle groups, that's why. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Woo! Very good. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Next is 3-point stepping drill. So I'm going to stand beside the chair. I've pointed my toes towards the corners, and I'm going to bend the knees and kind of roll my tailbone under, kind of like we did with some of the other ones just before. So the 3-point stepping drill is heel down, toe up, coming forward. Okay, bring it back to the ankle. Heel down, out to the side, back to the ankle. Point the toe back behind you. You're kind of squeezing that booty, the front hip muscles too. Back to the ankle. Let's kind of raise up from that. Just move a little bit. And again, toes towards the corner, bend the knees, roll and tuck that tailbone under. Heel up to the front. Heel down, toes up, sorry. Back to the ankle. Heel out, toe up to the side, back to the ankle, back behind you. Point it, point it, point it. Very good. Back to the ankle. And then move a little bit. We just do this 3 times. Here we go. Feet into the floor. Roll that tailbone in. All right, heel forward, toe up. Very good. Back to the ankle. Heel out to the side. Back to the ankle. Point that toe back behind you. Woo! Back to the ankle. Very good. From here, that inside leg, let's just swing it to release that tension that was building up on the balance leg. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go over to the other side. Okay, here we go, here we go. Point those toes towards the corners of the chair. Bend the knees, roll that tailbone under. Here we go. Heel forward, toe up, forward. Okay, back to the ankle. Out to the side, woo, back to the ankle. Bring it back behind you, point that toe, woo, squeeze that bun, that happens too. Back to the ankle. And then release that with a little bit of movement. And then let's get back into it. Sink, settle, tuck it in. Heel forward, toe up, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Most of the weight is on the leg closer to the chair. Point the toe behind you, back to the ankle, and release. You know we got to do it one more time. Or take a break, but let's do it one more time. Feet firm. Bend those knees. Roll that tailbone under. Here we go. Heel forward, toe up. Woo! Back to the ankle. Out to the side. Back to the ankle. Very good. Point it back behind you. Squeeze. Ha! Back behind you. And release. Oh my gosh. That inside leg, let's release the pressure by swinging that leg. So again, it's good for bursitis, getting our balance, getting ready to walk. Woo! Breathing in and out. Next is our forward and backwards walking. So here's where two chairs or a chair and a wall comes in handy. So I'm going to have my chairs back to back. Let me move my block and yoga strap out to the side. So a lot of times, and I notice this with my mom a lot, she does this thing where she's looking down at the floor when she's walking. Now she's going to turn 98 here in 2 days. You know, I can't cure her of her habits, right? But I always try to say, Mom, okay, be very mindful how you do this. So what we're going to do is heel toe forward, heel toe forward, heel toe forward, and then look at your feet. Is one a little bit more out to the side versus the other? Are they look the same? Do they feel different? Okay. No judgment here. Just notice what you notice. Now the leg that's in the front, bring it back behind you, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. So the objective is, were you looking at your feet when you did that? Or were you looking at the camera or looking forward? So I'm trying to encourage you to look forward, have some confidence here. Now, switch the feet. Bring the other foot back, bring the other foot forward. And you're going to take your back heel, walk it forward. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And I do ask you here to look at your feet. Okay, I got to look at my, and hang on to my chair. So they're kind of pointed in the same direction for me on this side. So here we go, forward foot, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. So if you have like a long hallway or maybe a kitchen where you can hang on to the side, I encourage you to practice this forward and backwards walking because you recruit different muscles when you walk backwards. So, you know, if we're always moving forward, then it's going to get used to that, right? Let's do some more. Back foot, bring it forward, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, and then go toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Switch the feet one more time. The back foot comes forward, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, and then toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Very good. So that's homework number 2. Y'all remember what number 1 is, I think. Clam. Next is sit to stand. Okay. So sit to stand is one of your functional movements that you gotta keep it going on. Yeah. I'm gonna show this sideways. I'm on carpet, so I'm not gonna move easily. But what you typically do is take your chair and you put it up against the wall and the other chair in front. Now make sure I have a good distance between the chairs. Let me move this one back a little bit. And what I want you to do is sit down in your chair. Now, did you hang onto the chair to sit down or use a wall or a piece of equipment? No judgment, just notice what you notice, okay? So I know that I like hang on to something when I lower myself onto the toilet because I don't want to go plunk, right? So I'm trying to be very mindful of how I raise up and off the toilet. Why is that important? Well, you got to keep your independence, right? So you got to build these muscles to do that. So sit to stand. Typically what you do, you're away from the back of the chair, hands on the shoulders, maybe feet more towards the chair, and you lean forward and you come up. Woo. Notice if you had to grunt, if you had to use some momentum to come up. Now, same process. Come on down. Monty Hall. And then try it again. Oof. Now, maybe it's not easy for you, and that's okay. You can use the top of the chair to help guide yourself up. The way to build the strength is to do the sit to stand yoga posture. Now, here's the statistic. So those of us 60 and older, men and women, we should be able to do between 9 and 12 sit to stands in 30 seconds. If you can do that, then there's only a 30% chance of you falling later on in life. So, okay, wow. If you are only able to do between 4 to 8, the statistic is you have a 50 to 70% chance of falling later on. So we want to keep the strength in the lower body so that we, keep strong and we're not going to be falling. So again, I'm going to show this with the chair up against the wall and the chair in front, because that's how you should typically do this exercise. You shouldn't do this on wood unless you're up against the wall here, okay? And that chair has to be far enough in front of you to where if you're hinging forward and coming up, you're not going to bonk your nose on the chair. So again, do what you can. We're going to do as many comfortably as we can right here. Here we go. Again, if you need to have hands to guide you down, that's fine. You got to start somewhere, right? Oof. This is homework number 3, by the way. And my chair squeaks. Of course it does. And are you using your hands and pushing up to get up? Oh, that's kind of cheating, but that's okay. Oh, is the heart rate up? I bet you it is. Whew. And one more. Okay, now, something a little different, of course. Moving that chair away. So, feet about a foot distance apart. We're going to do chair pose. We're going to inhale, circle, sweep arms up. We're going to bend the knees, bend the elbows. See how low you can come down. Maybe you have to hang on to the chair. See how low you can come down. Make a mental note, and then come back on up. From here, we're going to see if we can go a little bit lower. We're going to do the joint releasing technique. Turn the head side to side while we let that heart rate come down a little bit. Now, come back to the center. Let's drop the ear towards the shoulder. Again, don't go further than, don't go to the ouch area. Now just do what you notice. Maybe one side feels a little kind of creaky, a little stiff, yeah? All right, very good. From here, shoulder rolls. And then reverse. Now this next one is like you curve, like you're doing a standing cat posture, and then you do a chest expansion, you're squeezing the shoulders. So you're curving your upper back forward and back. So you're opening up the upper part of the spine here a little bit. Very good. 2 more. This is 2. And that is 1. From here, we're going to have the feet be a little bit wider, point the toes out. So in our chair Tai Chi class, we draw a side line number 8 horizontally. We're going to do that with our hips. So you're going to draw a number 8 with your hips and keep it a little soft bend in the knees. We're doing this nice and slow. There may be some little spiciness going on here in this posture. I had belly dancers in my class earlier. Man, they were able to do this, and I was like very envious. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of stiff. And of course, we got to pause. Oh my gosh, and go the other way, okay? Whoa. It's the other way that kind of gets me. It's like stiff on their right side. It doesn't know how to turn. You're thinking, why are we doing this? I'm going to show you in just a sec, okay? One more, wherever you are. Okay. Whew. Now, we're going to step a foot out to the side, okay? You're going to bend your knee forward a little bit. And what you're going to do with your knee is draw a circle over the ankle. So if you need to hang on to the chair, please do just go a little slower if you need to, okay? And then let's reverse, go the other way. Be sweet, be kind. If it's hurting, don't do it. Opt out and wait for the next one. Make a note, though. Why is that doing that? All right, and bring it back to the center. Let's take the other foot out to the side. And again, we kind of bend in both knees. And the foot that you turned out, you're going to draw a circle over that ankle, okay? Again, you can hang on to the chair. Notice if it feels kind of jerky. Mine's kind of jerky on this side. And then reverse, go the other direction. Notice if it's smoother going that second direction. Very good. Come back to the center. Your feet just like they were before when you did that chair posture. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bend the elbows, bend the knees. Now come as low as you can. A little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Or maybe you didn't. And then come back on up. So at the end of class, after we stop the recording, I want you all to let me know how that was for you. We're coming to the front of the room, sitting on that chair. We got to do that guided rest and relaxation. So I invite you to get a little comfortable. If you're able to get on the couch or get in that comfy chair or just kind of settle, sink into the chair that you have, do so. Maybe you want to cross at the ankle bones, knees out, that kind of thing, and just kind of relax your body into the chair. You have the option of gazing forward, gazing down at the floor, eyes closed, open. You get to choose, okay? But we're going to go do a quick little body scan here. Again, part 2 for relieving chronic pain is that yoga nidra, okay? You all got to check that out. All right, I'm going to place my hands in my lap. My eyes are going to gaze towards the floor. And we're going to breathe in, let the belly expand. Hopefully that heart rate's down a little bit, and exhale. Let's help that heart rate get down a little bit. We're going to do what's called the extended exhale breath. What I will do is I'll clap my hands to a count of 4 as we breathe in. We'll pause and we'll exhale to a count of 5. Again, do what you can, all right? So let's get started. So again, breathe in, belly big. Pausing, exhale for 5. Pausing at the bottom. Again, breathe in. Pausing just for a moment and exhale. One more time. Breathe in, belly and chest big. Slowly, slowly exhale. Beautiful. From here, as we gaze at the floor, eyes closed or open, just notice if you're feeling any strong sensations in the body. And this is a little bit of a cognitive behavior therapy. When we breathe in, let's just kind of send some healing, light healing sensation to those areas that may be pretty strong today. So let's do that. Breathe in, bring in that healing sunlight. And as we exhale, let's let go of whatever no longer serves us today. Maybe you want to breathe through the mouth on this one. Let's do that again. Inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, let's let it go. It's like a little stress releaser right there. Let's do that again. Breathe in, slow, slow, slow. And let it go. Exhale. Beautiful. All right, flutter those eyes open. Let's scooch a little bit towards the front of the chair, the knees wide. And let's start with those wide shoulder circles. So again, this kind of is in the pelvis, the hip complex when we do this. And you might find some little spicy areas. You may want to hang out in those spicy areas and then, continue in that circular journey. Usually it's my right side, but today it's my left side. Whew. And let's pause and go the other way. So here we go. Whew. No, it is in that right side. It's just the direction I go. Again, notice what you notice, right? And then come back to the center. I'm bringing my feet in a little bit. We're going to do spread the feathers. So we spread the hands out, bring the arm out to the side, and I'll lower my arm a little bit. Then I'm going to turn my thumb to the top of the room. Then I take my opposite ear towards my shoulder. So this brings more blood flow to the brain. It's a good thing. And then with my chin, I'm going to bring it towards my chest and then towards that extended arm side, back to my chest and towards that opposite side and release. Let's do the other side again. Spread the fingers, bring the arm out to the side, maybe lower the arm a little bit, and then turn the thumb to the back of the room. Very good. Take the other ear, opposite ear, drop it towards the shoulder. Ooh. Notice what you notice. And then bring the chin towards the chest and towards that same side arm as extended. And then back down to the chest and towards that opposite side. And release. One more, range of motion, softening the neck and shoulder muscles. Hands together. It's called swimming dragon. I like to hook the thumbs, but you don't have to do that. We're going to breathe in, belly big, relax the shoulders. Belly button tie. Exhale, hands one direction, turn the head the other direction. Notice your range of motion here. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale back to the center. Beautiful. One more time, breathe in, belly big. And then take the hands one direction, head the other direction, exhaling. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale back to the center. You know, we got time to do the hand tapping. So we're going to take the pinky sides and tap, tap, tap. That's to lessen headaches, vertigo. So it's not whapping, it's just tapping, okay? That stimulates one of the traditional Chinese medicine meridians in our bodies. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but off the top of my head, I don't. And then we're going to take the webbing of the thumb and tap into the other webbing of the thumb. So that's to help with digestive disorders, nausea. Again, you're not like, whack, whack, whack. It's kind of soft, okay? But if you have rings or bracelets, you're going to hear it. Then a little brain work, we're going to switch it. Okay, there you go. And I'm tapping it to where my fingers are like hitting each other. They're making little tappy noises. Next is the interwebs of the fingers. Now, if you've got rings, be mindful. You're going to interlace those fingers and tap, tap, tap. That's for pain or numbness in the limbs. Limbs being arms and legs. Right? Yeah. Okay. And then you're going to wiggle the top finger and then switch the other finger to be on top, because you normally interlace your fingers a certain way. And tap, tap, tap. Oof. All right, next is for the heart and cardiovascular issues. Here, just below the bend of the wrist, that kind of pulse point, we're going to tap, tap, tap. Now I like to do up and down tap, tap, taps. Now again, you're not whapping. It's just a little tap, okay? Don't be really vigorous with this, okay? Flip it, okay? You're supposed to do this 60 to 100 times, but we're doing a little sampler right here, okay? It's our hand tapping sequence. All right, so now we're going to cup the hand, kind of like when we swung the arms. So maybe I didn't mention that, but we're going to tap on the top of the hand. Now, if you've got rings, you're going to curve a little bit more. This is for osteoarthritis, for back pain. Some folks like to put the hand down on the leg and do it, but I find that I'm more forceful, so I leave it up in the air. Makes a nice little sound. Do the other side, and again, I got a ring on this side, so I'm going to curve it a little bit more. This really makes the veins pop out, which is good if you have to have an IV on the top of your hand. Okay, random stuff, right? I have a nurse in my other class. She goes, oh man, this is what we do to get those veins to pop out. Okay, I'm going to share that. The next one is for neck and shoulder pain. Take that same cuppy hand and tap here at the wrist level, okay? So here we go. And I got to watch on this other side, so it's going to be a little different location for me. But again, back of the wrist, or back of the hand, wrist. I can't talk today. Neck and shoulder pain. Now my favorite is the next one, where you make a fist and you pound into your, and this one is a little vigorous, okay? For stress, anxiety, improves clarity, consciousness. You also notice the strength of one hand versus the other when you do this. However you want to do it, okay? Let's do the other side. Here we go. If you've got rings, you know, you're going to be mindful. Ooh, this one's a little bit weaker. This is my left hand, so that makes sense. There's a rumor if you stick out your tongue, it makes it even better. Okay, I'm just joking. Now for easing insomnia. So this can get a little spicy. You got your little elbow pit here. You take the palm And it can be spicy with that same strength that you were tapping. So maybe do a little bit less. I don't know. I always look side to side when I do this. All right, now there's a part 2 for the insomnia, for changing time zones, jet lag. It's to pull down on your earlobes. So pull down. Again, this is for your insomnia. And I feel I can hear better when I do this. That's weird, huh? And then the outsides, you pull out. Oof. And then up on the top. I know, it feels weird, right? But I can hear better. We got to do this 3 times, folks. Again, pull down the earlobes, pull, pull, pull. Oof. And then do the outsides. Ah. And then the tops of the ears. Ah. One more. Here we go. Pull down, pull down. I feel like my ears are warming up, that's for sure. And the outsides. And the tops. There's one more for this insomnia. It's to rub one armpit. I'm looking at my list here. It gets into those lymph nests. Doesn't matter which pit, but you do one. If you do the left one, that's the one that's more connected to the heart. About 20 seconds though, okay? So the slapping of the elbow pits, the up and downs 3 times of the ears, and the rubbing of one armpit is to help with jet lag, insomnia, switching those time zones. Very good. Clap the hands, rub into those hands. Very good. I'm going to take my glasses off and continue to rub. And I'm going to place the heat of my hands over my eyes. Relax my shoulders. Breathe in. Help with dryness of the eyes. And exhale. Very calming for the body. Again, breathe in and out. Very nice. From here, you can drop your chin towards your chest and maybe stack the hands or hands together for our gratitude practice. So in gratitude, just you showing up here. But I invite you to think about one thing that you're thankful for, or maybe an idea of gratitude if you can't think of anything today, okay? And then whatever it is, kind of clasp it into your hand and place it into your heart space here. And just kind of think about this, contemplate it just for a moment. Very good. And then you can bring your head back to neutral, looking forward, eyes opened or closed. As I say, our traditional sayings to end our class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention, or fall prevention using 2 chairs. I'm going to stop the recording.